Mr. Wikus Lategan is the CEO of Calgro M3. He joined Calgro M3 in 2008 as financial director and was subsequently appointed as group managing director in June 2015. He's responsible for overall operations and activities of the group. Mr. Lategan served as a member of the South African Institute of Chartered Accountants on the Business Executive Council and is also chairperson of that organization, FIABCI, Northern Region and Business Council. He has vast experience in business restructuring and management and became CEO in 2017. Mr. Lategan, please introduce us to your ongoing affordable and social housing project, Fleurhof Integrated Development.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I work for a company called Calgro M3, and what Calgro M3 does is it specializes in two businesses. Namely, on the one side, you've got what we call integrated housing solutions, and I'll speak about that in the presentation. And then we also develop and manage private memorial parks. Effectively, if you look at the business model, we're providing housing and we're providing dignified burial space, all in a drive to uplift people. And you'll see a bit later in the presentation, I'll touch on it a few times. Our slogan is building legacies, changing lives. It's really about, if you look at South Africa, it's about there's a lot of poverty, there's a lot of inequality. And our main goal in life is to start bridging that gap and bring people closer together, get to a point where people have similar living conditions and really strive to better themselves from a social perspective. So that's the main business model. The group operates both to the private and public sector. So yes, at this stage, if you look at our financial statements, we're a public listed company. There's very minimal work for the South African government, but at certain times there's lots of work. So we'll capitalize on all of that. And again, as soon as you've got support from government, of course, you can bring these products more affordable to the market, which will really help. The company operates in 5 distinct provinces of 9 in South Africa. So the first one being Gauteng in Johannesburg, or Sandton, which is the capital of South Africa. Then we've got in Western Cape, a small project in the Free State, a new project we're planning in Eastern Cape where the new harbours will be, also where the Volkswagen or the VW factory for South Africa sits, and the Ford factory, and then also in KZN. And if you look at these provinces, the question must be, why do you operate in these 5 of 9 provinces? Well, between just Gauteng and Western Cape, you sit with 66% of your housing market of South Africa. And if you then add the other 3 provinces, we're over 80%, and hence wider concentration on those provinces. If you look at our pipeline to date on these projects, which still have 68,000 units to go, we've delivered more than 17,000 housing opportunities already. If you look back at other projects we've done over the years, we've delivered in excess of 50,000 housing opportunities. Now, if you take South African averages of somewhere between 4 and 5 people per average household, we effectively provided accommodation for close on 150,000 people to date, dignified, better living space environment. So how do we do this? We look at an integrated business model and what we call a turnkey. So what that effectively means is we try and we endeavor to do as much as possible in-house. We want to try and minimize the external margin so that we, from a public company perspective, can still make a margin that suffices for our investors, both debt and equity. And you need investors because otherwise you cannot get all these projects in the ground. You need money. But very much social principles applied through these projects. And effectively, the more people externally making money out of these projects, the less money there's for us to be made, or the higher the price to the consumer. It's all about the price to consumer. So what I'll take you through today is the principles of this project, effectively from a due diligence, from acquiring the actual land, from doing the town planning and getting the development rights in place in-house, in our own town planning firm. We do all our value upliftment, our architecture, our designs in-house. We own our own architecture firm 100%. Then through to the project management side, the quantity surveyors, the costings of all of this. We do the sales in-house ourselves. And the only things we really subcontract is the infrastructure and the top structure construction. We used to do some of that in-house, but we realized there's people that's smarter and more experienced in that than ourselves. I touched on it earlier. It's about building legacies, changing lives. So you'll see good pictures of parks and schools, education facilities, sports facilities, some more sports facilities. And then the question arrives, why integration? So if I may quickly go there. People don't move in next to each other from different income groups and different classes of life because they want to. Generally driven by locality. The purpose for Calgro is to say, let's do some social upliftment. Let's bring the people through. If you look at our projects, from fully subsidized government-funded houses into social housing or community residential units, then into our core market of 400 to 50,000 rand. Now, to put it in perspective, what 400 to 50,000 rand is, in euros, that's effectively less than 28,000 euros for a house, including your parking, covered parking, security, everything. That's what that money buys you in a secured state. Up to the more what we call affordable market, 700,000. And then, of course, we do a few top-end things as well. And the whole idea is cross-subsidization and integration into all of these markets. Again, also trying to follow the money, because at different phases of a country's economy, different classes of life got some money on consumable money. So if you look at the picture, and I touch on it, our goal is that you can do the social upliftment. So effectively, where you have the bottom of this tier presentation, you've got someone who gets a house for free from government. The moment they just in a community of free housing, no one looks after the house, they got it for free. But the moment they stay next to someone that paid for their house, they see how they drive nice cars. They see how they go to work opportunities or job opportunities in the morning. The kids go to the same school, they become friends. And all of a sudden they become friends and they say, but hang on, we also want to better ourselves. We also want to uplift ourselves. But that's not why people move in. People move in, if you look at the picture I'm showing you, every section of Fleurhof, so Fleurhof today has got more than 8,000 residential opportunities already occupied. So again, if you take by 4 or 5, that effectively gets you somewhere between 32,000 and 40,000 people residing in this project. But if you look at the periphery, you'll see job opportunities. So you bring you close to job opportunities. It's not that all the wealthy stays close to where they work and all the poor people have to travel all these hours and hours in the traffic. Because what does that do? Now the poor people, the blue-collar workers, have to travel to work. They spend so much less time with the family, which gives family problems. They spend so much less time at work because they have to travel all the way back. So that gives less upliftment because they're limited in the times they can spend. Now we bring people right next to the job opportunities. And effectively, one of the family members can work harder, get a better income, improve their family financial position, and the other parent can spend more time with the kids. That gives a way better work-life balance to these families. So if you look at the picture, you'll see lots of greening. There's schools. There's private schools we bring at very affordable, even below government pricing to the consumers. There's freestanding individual houses. There's rental accommodation. There's free government houses. There's social houses. So if you look from an income group, we literally cater in the rand terms from someone that earns 0 to someone that earns 35,000 rand a month. In euros, on euro terms, someone that earns from nothing to 2,000 euros a month. We cater for all of that in the same development because of locality. Now they move in together, but they want to still be close to the grandparents, which can help with the kids, to their churches. Churches is very important in South Africa. Schools, good schools, so that we can uplift each other. And now you start the social integration where the people become friends and everyone starts uplifting each other, talking each other up, and everyone starts improving each other. If you look at our government giveaway houses, it's the same tar roads, it's the same level of service, it's the same parking, it's the same security. It's what you have across the road for someone that pays for their property. I said earlier, we focus on this 450,000 rand or 28,000 euro market, very important to us. So let me speak a bit about Fleurhof. So Fleurhof was acquired back in 2009. We then took it through the approval process. And back in that stage, we were only having 3,000 housing opportunities. Then through a lot of working the project, working with government in terms of policy making. So South African government's got 3 tiers. You've got local government, which is your close by municipality. Then you've got your provincial government that looks after these provinces I referred to earlier. And then, of course, lastly, you've got your national government. So all these different spheres got different political aspirations, different political agendas, and different pockets of money. So we try and work with all of them to enhance decision-making and policy-making to drive this integrated housing. And if you look at the picture below you again, you've got a lovely dam, you've got lots of green area, open spaces, but quite dense if you get to the ground, but you never get that feeling. And through all these initiatives, again, just a park, and typically we develop through the project safe running, training conditions, because of safety is a big thing in South Africa. Fleurhof today got over 13,000 housing opportunities. So where we started the property, we bought this 400 hectares or 2,800 acres of land. We then started with town planning approval for 3,000. We built it up to 13,000. And where we sit today, we're busy acquiring adjacent properties to that to also integrate it. We now will start construction of a new regional shopping center within the next 6 months. So all of these activities, bringing people close to job, close to their church, close to their family, close to a place where they feel special, building legacies, changing lives. Everything for us about social upliftment through the life of these projects. So the life cycle. First, we go and do due diligence, everything in-house, financial models, land studies. Then we go, what that entails, is locality, first and foremost. And not like everyone says, sorry if I may use London inner city. You cannot do affordable housing there, but you have to do where the industrial areas is, where your client base is. Then we consult the local municipalities. What's their dreams? Let's assist each other. And the benefit of that is not necessarily money. The benefit of that in our case is we're bringing public transport to the periphery of the projects, but also right through the project. So the furthest you have to walk in Fleurhof is less than 300 meters, 0.3 kilometers, or less than a quarter of a mile to get to public transport formal bus system. We do environmental studies. A lot of the environmental and health and safety studies about the adjacent community, not the community we're developing. Also, what we do through this project, so Fleurhof is connecting Soweto, which I think is well known in the world, where Nelson Mandela comes from, with the more northern fluent suburbs, the old, let's call it white suburbs. So we're eroding these apartheid barriers. Very important for us, bring South Africa together again. Then Balkan Link infrastructure. Again, we partner with government, we assist installation, we assist them with some of the infrastructure, because you can't just leave it for government to uplift South Africa back. Of course, slopes, GIS information, local municipalities and various other professionals, and market studies. Will it sell? But if there's people, if you look at the workforce of South Africa and you look at the amount of houses, we've got a shortfall of roughly 2 million housing opportunities. And just some of the boxes we ticked. Again, if you look at affordable housing or social housing, the green initiatives, green energy, wastewater treatment, all of that comes into play to the poorer people, which really cannot afford the escalating electricity prices. Then we secure the land, we buy the land. I already said we do the township, all the township establishment, getting development rights in place in-house. We do the infrastructure, that of course we subcontract. If you look at kilometers road through Fleurhof, we built a new electrification substation as well as a water reservoir that don't only feed Fleurhof, it effectively feeds 3 times Fleurhof. And again, enhancing government infrastructure, marketing and sales all in-house, transfer the end user, construction, top structure, and then handover. And then we start all over. And if you look at the picture in front of you, just again, all these different typologies, all this upliftment getting together. And that's just to show you the scale of Fleurhof and how 8,000 housing opportunities on a scale basis, look, without creating another city with high maintenance, difficult maintenance, lifts. All these properties you see on the picture, all of them just make use of staircases, not lifts, in an endeavor to keep the running costs, the overheads of these buildings also down, because our core market is affordable housing market, but in a dignified manner. Just a different section again of schooling, integrating into the current community, building legacies, changing lives, the parks and the amenities, the secure sports facilities we bring to this development, very, very key to us. Thank you for the opportunity today.